Hey runner! Today I'd like to show you a simple and effective 5 to 7 minute mobility sequence that you can do for your feet and your hips. Strong, mobile feet and hips are very important for healthy and strong running. And so today I'd like to lead you through the sequence that you can easily do at home. You're just going to need 3 tools, and those include a yoga block or similar shaped and sized object, a small firm ball like a lacrosse ball, softball, or tennis ball, and a half cylinder or half dome. In this place, you can use a thick rolled towel if you do not have one of these. You're going to want to make sure you've got some clear space on the ground to do some of these exercises, and again, 5 to 7 minutes of your time. If we can improve the mobility and strength in our feet and the mobility of our hips, that usually can lend itself to more comfortable, stronger runner and more durable running in the long term. So grab those tools and let's get ready to get a little bit of mobility in for those hips and feet. We're going to start with lifting and lowering and spreading our toes. Go ahead and stand with feet about hip width apart, and working 1 foot at a time, we're going to work on lifting the big toe, lowering it, and then lifting the other 4 toes and lowering those. You might find that 1 foot has less control or flexibility than the other, and that is okay. This is why we're working on this. We're also going to work on spreading those toes like you would with your hand, making that starfish, getting those toes as far apart away from each other as possible. You want to spend about 60 seconds lifting, lowering, and spreading of each foot. Then you're going to grab your ball. Go ahead and place that ball on the ground. And from here, we're going to do a little bit of self-myofascial release with our ball on our feet, waking those feet up and getting them ready for more work ahead. Go ahead and place the ball under the foot and roll from front to back and side to side. You might find some extra sticky spots or tight spots within the foot, and if that's the case, just settle in there a little bit and feel out the pressure. I also like to drape my toes along the top of the ball and really stretch out and open those toes here too. This is a great way to just wake those feet up, find any tight spots, and work on any tight fascia on the bottom of the foot. The top of the foot stretch is a great way to work through any tight tissues on the top and front of the foot and leg. Go ahead and stand with feet about hip width apart, then step 1 foot behind you, having contact with the top of the foot and toes on the ground. You should feel a stretch through the front of the ankle and into the shin. If it's extra tight, you can step out of it at any time and then reset. Eventually, you're going to work up to a 60-second hold here. You might feel a lot of tightness and pressure, again, at the front of the ankle and into your shin. This is completely normal, but don't force this range of motion. Hold here and breathe comfortably. Next, we're going to do a standing pelvic lift. Take your yoga block or similar item. This can also be done on a stair edge. And placing 1 foot on the block, I want you to press into the ground or into that block with that leg. And that's going to naturally lift the other leg higher. We're going to continue with this pressing into the block before releasing that tension. The leg will come up and down. It's a very subtle shift of the hip, but we're working on our lateral hip strength and mobility here. If you find that you've got some issues with balance or confidence, you can use a wall nearby or some sturdy object to give you that confidence you need. But I'd like you to perform 60 seconds on each leg. This is the standing calf stretch, which will help address tight calves as well as ankles. Go ahead and place 1 foot on your half cylinder or thick rolled towel with the ball of the foot at the top of the dome. Step the other foot forward, but as you'll see here, it's really easy to thrust that chest or lift those ribs. We don't want to do that. So step that other foot back as needed in order to keep a nice neutral spine and pelvis in alignment. We're just going to hold here for up to 60 seconds per leg before you switch sides. Time for the top of the foot stretch again, but this time on the ground with our half dome. Go ahead and kneel down on the floor with the half dome behind you, placing the tops of the feet on the dome as you sit those glutes back onto your heels. The more of your foot that's on the dome, the less the stretch. So if you need to deepen that stretch, inch those feet forward before you sit back again, really addressing those tight areas on the top of your foot. If you feel any pressure or tightness in the knees, you can place a small rolled towel or washcloth behind your knees before you sit back again to see if that allows for more comfort. This is a real burner, as you might have some real tightness in the front of your feet and shins, but work up to a 60-second hold here. If you've got tight hips, I've got you with this one. Go ahead and lay back, place a bolster or towel behind your neck as needed, and hips and knees are going to be at 90 degrees with your shins parallel to the ceiling. Place that yoga block between your knees and gently hold it there. You're not gripping. From here, I want you to pull your feet away from one another. You're going to feel that deep internal rotation of the hip, and you might even feel a little bit of a cramp. So while we eventually want to work up to a 60-second hold, you might only find that you can hold this comfortably for 10 seconds at a time there, and that's okay. Come in and out of this as able to without forcing the movement. The number one mistake people can make here is they just move too quickly. So slowly bring those feet away from one another as you hold here, getting that nice deep movement in the hip.